Ladies and gentlemen.
Hey ladies, welcome back to Somebody Come Listen to This podcast. I am your host, Nava. If you're new here, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me so you can help me get to 2K. And let's jump into this topic, ladies. Let's talk about men who do not like their wives or even love their wives, and men not wanting to get married. For y'all that don't know, I have been married for 18 years, going on 19, and I am very anti-marriage now, only because of what I know about men and what I know about the patriarchy and the things I've learned about marriage and how it started out. It was just like a business arrangement. The wives were pretty much just given away as like a appliance, as like a slave, a personal slave to men all throughout history. And it still is set up that way. Men still only look at women as like objects or a house appliance. But many men do not want to get married, even the ones that get married. And that's why the divorce rate is so high. Women are filing at high rates because they're realizing that these men don't see them as humans and they don't really like them. They don't want to help them. They don't want to do anything. A lot of us just get married because that's what patriarchy tells us to do, because they want people to get together and procreate to have more people for the system. So men are giving all their reasons why they don't want to get married now, which are all bullcrap, because we all know that marriage benefits them more. But the main reason I know that men don't want to get married is because they feel like that they're going to lose half of their money. Sometimes that happens if they actually do have money, but a lot of men don't actually have money. Only like 10% of women can get alimony or have got alimony. I see a lot of black men saying they don't want to get married because they don't want to get divorced, which, yeah, but for the most part, I just think that men don't want to lose their freedom. They want to be free to have sex with whoever they want, whenever they want. And I feel like women should stop trying to force them into marriage because they're just going to cheat anyway. Once they get into these marriages, they're going to get tired of you because they're natural predators, and they're going to get tired of just one woman. Once they catch you and then they get you for a while, they get tired of you. Like any natural male in nature, their attention span is like, that's why they act like they're not acting. They don't care about their wives. They don't care about talking to you. They don't care about listening to you. They just don't care about being around you. So let's get into these videos and we can talk about it a little bit more. I'll be right back.
Around asking men for advice about getting married, and now that I'm 4 years in, I realize that a lot of these men didn't like their wives. After I posted that video, this comment read, "Can you talk more about liking your wife?" So many men seem to generally dislike and seem to be annoyed by women they love but don't like. What I've both seen and learned as I've grown is that men will marry women who serve them even if they don't like them. That's how patriarchy conditions them. For example, if you ask a cis man what he likes about his partner, he'll soon begin listing the ways in which she serves him. You know what I mean? Like, I think society conditions men to not like women. Like, you love them, you feel a sense of duty towards them, you get one and you take care of them because that's what men do, we're taught. And you're hearing your whole life from church, the men in your life, the media, that women talk too much, they don't listen, they're disagreeable, they're emotional. Cis men tend to like other men in non-romantic ways. They like being around their guys and spending time with them, and sometimes these men talk to each other about how much they don't like their wives. But men will marry women who serve them, who are submissive and obedient and who know their place. Because as I've said, in the eyes of patriarchy, there can be no relationship without control. All liking someone is feeling attraction towards them or taking pleasure in them, delighting in them. Like, I like my wife, I like talking to her and being around her. Even if we're not doing stuff together, I feel better knowing that we're occupying the same space. I like her laugh and the way she speaks. Sometimes I just like watching her exist. Something about it fills me up, inspires me, reminds me. Like, she's my person, my favorite person. Seeing her makes me feel happy and safe. Yes, we're people that argue. Sometimes we annoy each other. But because we like each other, it doesn't take long for either of us to begin a resolution. Because who wants to not be talking to someone they actually like for the sake of pride? Thank you for watching, and like and follow for more content.
I'm gonna have to agree with the women on this one. A lot of you men do hate your wives. I'm 27 years old. I worked a lot of jobs where men just complain about not wanting to go home. We have this one fella at my job. He doesn't work there no more. But he's talking about his pregnant wife. Is there anything I could do at work to stay here because she's pregnant? She gets on my nerves. Like, y'all hate y'all partners that much? I'm married. I can't wait to get off work to go back to my wife. So y'all always just want to gaslight women and talking about women just be talking, women this, women that. But if you really think about it, they be saying some facts sometimes. I like to give credit where credit is due. Y'all men, you start picking better partners. And if you hate women in general, you don't gotta get married to them.
So a lot of men will hate women in general and still get married because it is their only way to have like a constant source of sex, a constant roof over their heads, because a lot of women are willing to pay 50-50 or even more when they are with men, because a lot of women are desperate and they get in these relationships and the hatred for them shows. It's not like it's hidden. These men actually show it and prove it by the way they treat them and talk to them. But the women are so afraid of being alone, especially if they have a baby and don't have a lot of friends and family. The women are so afraid of being alone because of like maybe finances and just not having a community. The women trap themselves in these relationships and they just trap themselves and they have nowhere to go and they just stay there being miserable because they allowed the man to trap them. They wanted the man to marry them so bad that that's what they got. They got exactly what they wanted. And now that this is where they are. And it's kind of hard for me to talk about stuff like this to women because I am married, and so many women still have dreams and hopes of getting married. And there's so many women out here that are like, not all, y'all are bitter. It's not all men, that they hate me being a married woman and talking about it because they still have hope. And it's like, why the hell are you telling us not to get married? And you've been married for 18, 19 years. So like all I can tell y'all is that what I'm seeing, the majority in my real life and in like from just being online for years, what I'm seeing. But if y'all don't want to look around and see the truth for yourself and listen to these men are actually out here telling you the truth. They're not even lying anymore. They're online telling women they don't want to get married. They're in relationships with you and you're not married after 10, 12 years and you just give up. Then women start lying to themselves like, oh, well, it's just a piece of paper. I don't want to get married, because they know he doesn't want to get married. So they'll start making excuses because he doesn't want to get married. They don't want to believe that he just doesn't want to get married to you or nobody. But men will get out of these long-term relationships and get with somebody else and get engaged really quick just to piss you off, just because they're mad that you broke up with them after like 20 years and because they need women, like they need women for stuff. So even if they don't want to get married, they will jump into a relationship really quick and get engaged. So that woman will think that they're serious, and then they could stay engaged for like 10, 12 years because another woman will let them do that. Women allow them to do stuff like that. So
I just saw this video on TikTok on here, and it was this lady who was a relationship counselor. She was talking about how so many women come to her feeling like they have low self-esteem or whatever just because of the way that men treat them, and they feel like they're not worthy of love just because a lot of men will put on a front just to get what they want out of a woman and then just like go ghost once that happens. And all I could think the whole time I'm watching the video was just, I feel like a lot of men are gay and don't want to be open about it. And I feel like so many men literally just live their lives to impress a bunch of other men. And in my opinion, that's gay. Like, speaking for me, I can't speak for nobody but myself, but I just know that I'm never dealing with any man, just to go and tell my friends and be like, ooh, guess who I did this with? Guess who I did that with? Like, that's weird. Women do not live our lives to impress our friends. Like, we don't do that. 9 times out of 10, our friends really don't be approving of the men that we're involved with. So it literally is not about impressing anybody. And just for like an example, like, so many men talk mess about girls, like that girl Brittany Renner. She like an Instagram girl or whatever, and she got pregnant by that basketball player. And so many men talk so much mess about her on social media, calling her a hoe, saying that she's nasty, disgusting, whatever. But then they'll turn around and say, like, they want to have sex with her. And it's just like, if you don't like somebody's character, if you don't like who they are as a person, why would you have sex with them? Why would you involve with them at all? Like, and it's obvious that the reason they do that is because they want to go back and tell their friends, oh, guess who I had sex with? Guess who I did this with? That's gay. Like, that's very gay. And there's nothing wrong with being gay. I love gay people. I love gay people. But, like, if you're gay, be open about it. Like, it's not normal to just want to appeal to a bunch of other men, especially at the expense of women. Like,
she is right. A lot of men are gay, and a lot of men live their lives just to impress other men. But the thing is, a lot of women live their lives to impress men that don't even like them and don't want them. So I don't know which one is worse. I do believe that a lot of women have low self-esteem for doing this. When somebody tells me now at the age of 41 that they're not a girl's girl, I just think you're not a girl's girl, because most girls are male-centered and they only care about men, and most girls or women cannot focus on building and cultivating like healthy relationships with other women because they're so focused on their man or what their man is doing. So I feel like that's the only reason most women say they're not a girl's girls, because all women are just focused on trying to get men, trying to get married, that's all.
One of the saddest things for women to realize is that men don't even love them. They also don't really love their children. I have now seen a lot of women getting divorced and thinking that since their husband is supposed to love their kids, that he's going to be very nice and amicable and make the divorce as trauma-free for the children as possible out of love for his children, because the mom thinks that I'm going to make it as trauma-free for the children because I am an adult, and so obviously he would do the same thing even if we can't get along. And time again, in my own life and in stories, I see women being shocked that their partner does all of these traumatizing things that is going to hurt them and the kids, and will even sometimes choose to hurt the kids just to hurt their partner. And I think it's a hard pill to swallow of just how hated so many women are in America. And so that's why in this next Trump presidency, let's either not date men or, let's just not date them, because it's a hard pill to swallow and it's just tragic. And I'm tired of men abusing their children, their women, and just living on with their little lives.
So the thing that I like about men these days is that they not only tell you this stuff, they actually show you this stuff. Women can look around and see that men don't want to have anything to do with their kids after you and him are done messing around and you get pregnant and have his baby. Women can see that and still act delusional, like they don't think what these men are saying is the truth. Then they'll get on like TikTok and make videos like this.
So Corey Holcomb is one of my favorite comedians, and he had a podcast the other day, and he was talking about like loving his kids, like men loving their children. And one of the things he said that stood out to me was he said that if a man doesn't love the mother of his child, he doesn't love that kid. Now, I'm wondering to myself, do other men feel that way? Because I'm not going to say who it was that said this to me, but there has been several of my family members telling me that they actually felt that way about their kids. They said because they didn't love the mom, they never really felt a connection to the child they conceived with that woman. Now, they do take care of their children. I'm not going to say the people that said that to me don't. They definitely do, and they are part of their lives fiscally and also like physically. They're there to do things, but they said they don't have a connection. And I asked them, like, do you really love them? And when I asked them that, I could see it in their face. They had an internal struggle, like, not really, no. So I'm wondering if, like, other men feel this way. Do you not love your child as much as you could because the woman you got pregnant wasn't your ideal woman? Like, if you don't love the mom, do you men not love the child? Let me know in the comment section below. I want to see what people say.
So there's a lot of women out there who are confused as to why a man would be in a full-fledged relationship with you, commit to you, marry you, and all of that, but treat you horribly. And you don't understand why men can stay in situations that they're miserable in or they're not unhappy in or whatever. It's because they don't like you. And in most cases, men like this don't like women at all. Okay? So there's two groups of men when it comes to how men feel about women, right? There could be three in a sense where there's a neutral point, like somewhere in the middle. But I'm just going to focus on the two extremes, okay? One group of men believe that women are miraculous. They're like the things that we're able to do, the way that we can go through pregnancies and give birth, how we can multitask, the way we love and nurture people, blah, 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 blah. Some men are so fascinated by that. They're like, they revere women. They're like, wow. Now, typically, a lot of these men are gay, you know, the ones who can appreciate it. A lot of them are. But there still are a lot of straight men who revere women. They just think the world of women. They think highly of women, right? Then you have the other group that I think is over half, in my opinion, of men who absolutely are jealous of women. Absolutely jealous. Now, you might say, how can a man be jealous of a woman? Easy. Every man on the planet, whether he wants to admit this or acknowledge it or not, every man on the planet knows that he had to pass through the vaginal walls of a woman in order to even be here. So whenever you hear men say, men built the world, I'm like, and B, what's your point? Women birthed the world. You wouldn't be here building nothing if you didn't pass through the vag of a woman in order to get here. Had your mother swallowed or shunned a boar, shout out to Zumi, right? Y'all know what I'm saying. You wouldn't be here. So the woman decided, y'all can talk about it takes a man and a woman to create life if you want to, blah, 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 who cares? At the end of the day, if that woman decides she's going to keep it or shun a boar, that's her decision at the end of the day. She's the one with the last decision. And there are a group of men who absolutely hate that is the facts. They hate that concept, right? And they're jealous of the fact that they think women go through life and they think we got it easy. So they do things to make it hard. They sit by and they love seeing us suffer. They love seeing us cry. They love when men leave them to be single mothers and anything a woman goes through. This group of men secretly or sometimes outwardly relish in your pain. Like they're just somewhere like, oh my God, that's exactly what she get. And some of them will come out and just tell you like, ha ha ha, B, that's what you get, right? But they have their passive aggressive ways. Like they'll say stuff like, you should have chose better because you didn't choose them. Stuff like that, right? This group of men hate women. Okay. Now the reason why they can get in relationships with women is because they need women for our services and our free labor. So I think if a lot of them could find other males that would cook for them every day and clean for them and satisfy their sexual needs and do their laundry and all that stuff that women would do, if more men could find other men that would do those things and be nurturing and all that stuff, somebody that they can trauma dump on all the time, most of these men who don't like women, they would leave us alone. But the reason why they don't leave us alone is because they need women. Women need other women. Men need women. Women don't need men. We don't. If you want one, that's something different. But we don't need them. They need us. They needed us to even exist in the first place. And like I said, a lot of men hate that. Their egos, their fragile egos cannot help it. If you are in category A, the guys who revere women, I'm not talking to you, okay? But like I said, the vast majority of men, in my opinion, fall into the second category of men who use women for your services because they can't get it from other men. So they have what they call a MILF, right? Mom I'd like to F. That's really what men want. They want a mother, somebody that's going to do all those things for them, and they can also, fulfill their deviant, out there, outlandish, sexual needs as well. That's what they want. If they could find that stuff in another man, they would. Some of them have, right? I think about like guys like Anwar, like here on TikTok. I think I'm saying his name right. The one who says he's like the fairy godfather or something like that. He's lovely, by the way. I really do like him. He's like, girl, right? He seems like he would be a good partner. Like he probably would if he found a guy that he loved. If he has one, he seems like the type that would be like, let's cook together, let's do this, I'll wash your clothes. Like, I don't know if he's that type of guy or not. I'm just saying he seems like he would be a good partner. And if it was more acceptable and these guys were comfortable with coming out and being who they are, and they can just go get all of those nurturing things that women do from other men, most of these men would leave us alone. They probably all would, actually. But that's the thing. That is how a man can be in a relationship with you, lay up with you every day, marry you and all of that, and hate your guts. Because they really don't want to be there. That's why I said before, a lot of women are always begging men to come home and spend time with them because they're always with their homies or whatever. Men have emotional connections and love their homies, and they tolerate women. That's just is what it is. The answers be right in y'all's faces. And sometimes it is the fact that they're sleeping with their homeboys as well. Sometimes that's just facts. I'm not saying all of them are, but a lot of them are. And when you start I talked the other day about the women's intuition. When you start having these thoughts in your mind, please follow this stuff. Because a lot of times you're going to find years or months down the road that you were right all along. So if you start thinking, he's spending too much time with these men, he don't never spend time with me, he hates you. Okay? So my theory is this. If he tolerates you and treats you bad, he hates you. He resents the fact that he needs you for whatever he's using you for. And when he get with the next woman, and when he get with the next woman, and when he get with the next woman, it's going to be the same thing. Because these men feel this way about women. They can tell themselves, oh, it was her, she was the issue. They have a track record of treating women the same way. So it's them. They don't really like women. So you can't take this personally at the end of the day. Because it's really their responsibility to just be like, okay, I'm not going to use her because I don't like her like that. I'm just going to man up and just move on with my life. They're not going to do that. They're incredibly, this group of men have no integrity. Not an honest bone in their bodies. They're going to use you up until they can't use you anymore. And it just is what it is. That's how they're able to do that. Most men are going to lie. If his mouth is moving, he's lying. Okay? And if he comes out and tells you the truth about what he's doing behind your back or whatever, he hates you. If he lies to you and he's doing things behind your back, he's lying to you because he doesn't like you. I ain't going to say he hates you, but he doesn't like you. But he doesn't want to tell you the truth because you're going to stop doing whatever you're doing for him. It's really that simple. Okay? That's all I got to say about that. But for those of you who are confused, that is why men can be in full-fledged, full-term marriages for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years with a woman and treat you badly and act like you're a burden and all that. Because to him, you are. He's there because he has to be there to get those needs met. Because he can't find men to meet all of the needs that women would give men just naturally, what we naturally give them. Leave your comments below and I'll check you guys in the next.
If you think you hate your wife, then just wait till you hear what this guy did. Back in 1993, James was home alone and was having a great time since his wife had left for work. However, all of a sudden, she gave him a call and told him that she was coming back home. So James damaged the levee on the Mississippi River to delay his wife from coming home. This caused a massive flood and it destroyed so many homes that it required $10 billion to fix all the damages. James got a life sentence and his wife divorced him.
as much as I didn't want to believe this, I'm starting to really believe that these new generation of men, they hate women. And the reason why I'm saying this, man, is because these women have sacrificed so much and they've compromised so much to the point where they're saying you don't even have to have money. You don't even have to personally be their type as far as looks. All they want you to do is be able to provide the things that are free: honesty, loyalty, respect, time, affection, attentiveness. Like, they want all of the things that are free, and y'all can't even give that to them. Are you serious? They put everything aside. Women are out here even marrying men. They are proposing to men. And y'all can't even give them the things that are free, a listening ear. Y'all don't even make them feel protected. Y'all don't make them feel safe. Y'all can't even make them feel appreciated. Do you know that appreciation is free? Do you know that support is free? Do you know that loyalty is free? Do you know that respect is free? Do you know that making them feel desirable is free? Y'all can't even do the things that are free? Do you even like women? Do you even love women? Do you really want to marry women? Like, I hate to say it. Like, I take up for us often, man, but it's scary. Do y'all actually hate women?
Men that's married don't even want to be married. Married men all the time, when I tell them I'm in a relationship, they be like, oh, don't rush it. Don't get married too soon. Make sure it's the right one. I be like, dog, you not happy that you got a wife? Like, you should be bragging about her. You should be telling me, like, yeah, dog, I'm trying to tell you, once you get married, man, it's going to be lit. It's going to be up. You're going to love it. It's going to be beautiful. But instead, it's like, y'all be almost trying to convince me not to get married.
And this is the reason why a lot of men end up marrying somebody who's a maid but not a friend.
Bro, I'm gonna throw some your way, and I want you to answer that.
This is the reason why she's washing your clothes. She's doing everything that you want her to do, but you don't want to talk to her. She easily irritates you because you don't even like her.
That's what I want to get to. Thank you for going there.
You don't even like her.
Bro, I've talked to several married men who told me that they don't like their wives. I asked them, well, are you at least friends with your wife? You know, like, friends?
I bet they do. I bet they do everything for them, though. They do everything for them, though.
Can I say something?
You make enough money to marry a maid. I mean, to hire a maid. I mean, and then marry a friend, right?
Wow.
If you want, if that's what you want, and so what you really want is somebody to cater to your egos,
and your brokenness.
Your brokenness.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get that to Jesus.
Woo. Go ahead. Go, sis.
Can I say something? I have thought it a bit interesting that it does seem like some men enjoy men more than they enjoy women, but they marry women because they're supposed to, but their affections, their time, their energy, their vulnerability is giving space for men more than
they do like men more than they like women. They get along with men better. They talk about the same stupid, shallow stuff because they're the same. Men and women are not the same. We're not the same species. They hate to hear our voices. That's why they don't listen to us. They cut us off. That's why most of y'all get divorced, because y'all want him to communicate and talk to you, and they don't want to talk to you. I don't even think they can communicate with us because I don't think we're the same species. A lot of them do not like to hear babies crying. They get jealous of their babies. A lot of them hate their kids. They get jealous when the baby is here because the woman is not giving them enough sex or attention or cooking for him. I've seen it. We've been on TikTok. I've seen plenty of videos of these men that get really jealous of their babies. Some of these men will take these babies out. It's just so much stuff that I think women see it because women are crying about it and complaining about it. But women are so desperate, and they've been taught that they just have to have a husband and a man. We've been brainwashed by Disney. You just have to have the perfect life and the fairy tale ending, and women just are willing to go through hell and high water to get it. They are even willing to stay until that man decides he wants to take their life or their kid's life. knowing that they saw signs that he might do this one day. Women stay because they just cannot get out of this delusion that they have to be with a man. They don't like other women, so they're going to fight to stay in these relationships with men because they hate women so much. And it's crazy.
Men don't like women for real. I'm not questioning your sexuality. I mean, you don't see women as people. There are certain men that only see you as an object to have sex with, an object for status or power, but they don't see you as a human being. They don't see you as equal. That's why they want you to serve them. That's why they keep throwing this word submissive around every which way, because some men don't want a wife, they want a slave. Some men don't want a mind, they want a trophy. Some men don't want your heart, they want your box. What I'm telling you, lady, is run fast as away from these men. And I'm gonna give you the run fast as away from these men starter pack. Any man that excessively uses the word delusional, run the away from this man. Women are delusional. They delusional. These delusional women. Starter pack. He excessively uses the word accountability. Run fast. He probably don't like women that much.
Most of y'all's husbands don't like y'all. No one's gonna say it. So I guess it has to be me. If you have a husband who works doubles all the time and he's always at work and he's always going on business trips, or he's always going on a holiday with his buddies, like going to play golf or deer hunting season, like every month there's some other shit that he needs to be doing in his mind other than spending time with you and the kids. He doesn't like you. He doesn't like you. He doesn't like being a family man. He only likes the aesthetics of it. He wants to appear to be a protector and a provider, a husband and a father. But he doesn't actually want to do those jobs. How do I know this? Any man who values you as his wife, who values his kids, who values quality time, who values the importance of kids knowing and feeling their father's presence in the home, you would never have to ask or beg them to spend more time with you and the family. You just wouldn't. Like, this is the most common sense ass shit. You're like, oh, he's gone all the time. He's always on business. Most of y'all's husbands chose careers to keep them away from the house on purpose. And even if he had that job or career before y'all got married and had kids, and he didn't do any adjusting or anything like that, he did this shit on purpose. He's doing it on purpose. These men know the importance of looking like a husband and a family man and a father without actually taking the role seriously. They just want to look. The aesthetics is more important to them than the actual doing of that thing. That's obvious. So when I see these TikToks of these women like, oh, it's so hard being a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home wife, and I'm cooking and baking and I'm doing all these things and my husband is never here, he's not there because he doesn't like you. That's why he's not there. He's going to dress it up and say, well, I have to provide, don't I? I have to be a protector. I have to work. I'm the one paying these bills. That's going to always be his excuse. But if he actually gave a fuck about you, he knows that his presence is more important. He knows that he could switch positions or that he could do some kind of like finagling to spend more time with his family. But he's not going to do that. And the reason why he's not going to do it is because he doesn't want to. These men get a kick out of spending more time playing golf or playing poker or hanging out with their homies, right? And a lot of men don't even really like golf. Did y'all know that? They don't actually... Golf is boring to a lot of these men, but it gives them an excuse to be away from you. Now, for those of you who in my opinion, who have already got, it's too late for you for the most part, but maybe not. I will say, recognize that man is only there out of obligation, not because he actually loves you or those kids, and that not because he actually wants to be there. And then you can do with that information what you will. Or before you find yourself getting played and getting got and letting a man beg you for babies and letting a man having a man beg you to give up your career so that you can be a stay-at-home housefrau, because that's literally what they fucking want. They want you to be at home tending to the kids, cooking, cleaning, taking their clothes to the dry cleaners, S-ing their D, right? And bending it over backwards and throwing it in a circle and all that when they want it at their convenience, right? While they go out and most likely cheat on you and go play golf with their buddies and do all this stuff and go on these business trips and shit like that. They need a house dummy. And I say that with love. I really do. This is how they see you, right? They need a house dummy to be at home doing all the things while they're out doing what the hell they want to do. And they know whether they get rejected by women out in the real world or not, they always have a house slave to come home to that's gonna like be there. And understand too, a lot of these men pick their wives based on how dumb they think you're gonna be, how much BS you're gonna put up with. You will look at that and think, oh, he picked me out of all those other women because I'm better. No, he picked you because he knows that if he cheats on you, you're probably not going anywhere. He knows that if he pumps you up with like 4 or 5 kids, you can't go anywhere. If he talks you out of your career or dropping out of college or whatever, and you're stuck, you can't go anywhere. He needs a constant supply of kitty cat, right? And somebody to constantly cook for them and make them look good to their friends and their bosses or whatever else. They need somebody steady, a steady house slave, while they go out and cheat and do what the hell they want to do and spend 16 hours at work and whatever else and go on business trips and do everything they can under the sun than to come home and spend time with their families. Please know that they're doing this on purpose. Please know that. There is no way that if it were turned around that they would have to beg you to spend time with them as the husband and your kids. If you love them, you're automatically going to do it because that's just how women's minds work. We want to spend time with the people we love. We want to be there for them. We don't want to miss the important moments. The reason why these men are okay with this shit is because they don't actually give a fuck. They like the aesthetics of it. If you have not fallen for this game yet, don't fall for it. You're going to be like the rest of these women who get on social media and complain that my husband is never home. I'm a married single mother. Don't do that to yourself. That's literally all you're going to do. And if you are a child-free woman and you plan on getting married one day, that's fine too. Just don't change your mind about them kids. Because the moment you introduce kids into y'all's relationship, it's a fucking wrap for the most part. I would say about 98.5% of the time, it's a wrap. Everything's going to fall on you. And that man is just going to go on about his jolly way and do the same thing to somebody else whenever he so pleases. So just remember that. That's all I got to say about that. I'll catch y'all in the next video.
Recently went through a divorce. And ladies, let me let you know, between that child support and that alimony, that shit is unfairly and unjustly set up for y'all to win. That's y'all's hustle. Because the judge ordered me to pay my baby mama $30,000 a month. Now, here's what was crazy about that. We knew for a fact that $5,000 took care of everything. My son's necessities, all the bills and the whatnots. They gave her the other $25 simply because it was available. You pay based on what you make as opposed to what's necessary. P. Diddy got 2 baby mamas. He paying both $90,000 a month apiece. And fellas, did you know when you get a divorce, you are legally and financially responsible for her attorney's fees and yours? She don't pay a dime. And a divorce can take anywhere from 1 to 3 years to finalize. I was a year and a half in, and I was $175K in lawyer fees, and the meter was still running. So ladies, when you think that men don't want to get married because we're afraid of commitment, we're afraid of divorce.
Ladies, you will hear black men saying this all the time. This one right here might have a little bit of change, but the majority of black men are not paying any more than $34.23 a month in child support. And I think only like 10% of women actually get alimony. And that's only if the man has money and resources. And it's very strict. It's really hard to get alimony. You have to prove that you stopped your career to be a stay-at-home mom to your kids and that you've been out of work for a certain amount of time and lost a certain exponential amount of money. So don't listen to them when they say shit like this, because a lot of women have been homeless after their men left them, because men, the first thing men think about is money. And they will clean out a bank account. They will move out of the country with their mistress. They will do all kind of stuff to stop you from getting their money. But yeah, don't listen to them when they say this.
Okay, question. And help me understand, because maybe I'm just not understanding. So, I hear that a lot of men nowadays are opposed to marriage, which I get it. It's understandable. Not a lot of people take marriages seriously. But my thing is this. If you have a lot of men wondering why women, or just people in general, have kids out of wedlock, right? And saying, well, the woman should have been married before she had a kid. If women now start having kids once they get married, but yet men don't want to get married, then how will people have kids? Right? If marriage is a requirement in order to have kids, according to a lot of things that I listen to, and the men are not ready to have marriage or don't see the benefit in having or getting married, then how are we going to populate the earth? Right? Makes sense? I hope that makes sense. I don't know. I'm just curious. And then why is it that most men don't want to get married? What is that about? And how can we change that narrative of men no longer wanting to get married? Not seeing the benefit of getting married. Just curious. All right. Bye.
This is the type of woman that I could not be around or be friends with. Stop asking them why. Leave them alone. If they don't want to marry you, you cannot force them to marry you. Nobody is waiting to have kids until they get into marriage. Most of y'all have already had kids before you were married. So nobody's thinking about, doing it right. Nobody's been doing it right. We don't need more kids on this planet for the patriarchy to use as slaves and to keep capitalism going. We don't need more kids to be put into foster systems and used and sex trafficked. We don't need that. Y'all keep talking about how are we going to have more kids? How are we going to have more kids? There are women online crying and regretting having kids because men are not staying with them after they have the kids and they don't have a village to help them take care of it. We are in a system that is crumbling and dying and burning. The prices are going up. Kids are starving daily and dying from starvation, dying from being raped and molested and taken out by these men. And you still have women talking about how are we going to have more kids? We do not need any more kids to fuel the flames of patriarchy and capitalism. The kids are being hurt. The kids are being not liked by their moms because the moms only had them to keep the men and the men left. So they're having to deal with these kids that they only had to keep that man. That's not fair for the kids. These kids are having to deal with unstable parents on both sides, being left to raise themselves. A lot of kids are having to raise their siblings because the parents have to work so much, have to work and work and work and work. So the older sibling at 10 and 11 years old has to take care of the younger siblings. And those older siblings are growing up to not want kids because they got forced into these positions. A lot of kids are hating their moms and dads or their single moms, because the moms are having to work so much to take care of the kids that the men left them with. And so the kids are growing up to hate her because she was never there. And the older kids had to take care of the younger kids, and the older kids don't like their mom. Nobody is mad at dad because he's not nowhere to be found. So he doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care if anybody's mad at him. He doesn't know what's going on. The kids are just out here by themselves. And we have women like this talking about how are we going to have more kids? We don't need more kids. We need more communities of women getting together and helping each other. That's what we need.
The majority of men don't want to get married. Here's why. How many of you know somebody that's in a long-term relationship or got married and became a shadow of themselves? That was me. A lot of us can feel pressured into marriage, whether that be from family, loved ones, friends, and society. I know I certainly did. And this can lead you down a dark hole to depression and inevitably hurting somebody. And believe it or not, men are very logical beings. We think about things a lot, think about risk. And when you hear things about, oh, she's going to divorce me, she's going to take half my money, she's going to take the kids, I'm not going to be able to see them, that becomes a risk to men. A lot of men have this real desire and ambition to achieve something in life and to be in the best position possible before committing to somebody. But what happens is a lot of us are afraid to be alone, and that fear can overcome your ambition. And these are some of the things that really affected me. I was in a 6-year relationship, engaged to be married, and 6 months prior to the wedding, I broke it off. So as a product of divorced parents and breaking off a marriage myself, this has stimulated my journey into becoming my best self. And here's some advice that I can give moving forward. Stop viewing marriage as the destination. Marriage should be a small part of your journey through life together, as partners. How many of you got comfortable in a relationship and gave up on looking after yourself? How rare is it to find somebody that you care and love about? That's when you should be doubling down on looking after yourself. And the biggest thing that's really driven me on this journey and becoming my best self is follow your dreams, follow your passions. And I solely believe that I will meet my soulmate on this journey into becoming the real me. So have the courage to follow what you want to do in life. Become the best version of yourself to find the best version for yourself. And there's a quote from Jim Carrey that really resonates with me. And he says, the decisions that we make in life are based off love or fear. Choose love and don't let fear turn you against your playful heart. If you like this content, follow for more.
Listen to these men. He's not just talking out of the side of his neck. He said the majority, and that is the truth. They become shadows of themselves because women, when we get into relationships or into marriages, we feel like we have our own personal slave. And men do not want to be tied down to just one woman. They don't want to be questioned when they get up to go. They don't want to have the responsibility of kids. It's obvious. Stats are proving it. Divorce stats are proving it. They don't want it. They're not helping around the house. They're not listening to you. They're not pulling their weight. They're not doing anything. They're showing you they don't want to be there. Stop forcing them into marriages because you're killing their spirit, and vice versa. They're killing your spirit by you trying to force them to do all of these things. You're draining yourself. You're making yourself more upset and depressed, and you're either gaining weight or losing it. You're going crazy, crying all the time because you can't force them to do what they don't want to do. And women have been doing that, and that's why women are filing for divorce, because they're tired of trying to do it. So stop. It's 2025. It's women that are trying to make them get married. And if they're trying to love bomb you and get married, like as soon as you meet them or really quick, it's because they need you to survive. They're either sick or they need some of your income to help them survive. If they're trying to get married to you fast, they're trying to leech onto you for some reason. But most men are not going to want to get married really quick. Most men do not like women enough to tie themselves down to one woman forever. That's why they call us the ball and chain. That's why these men are telling you that they don't like their wife. They're talking about you. None of them like their wives. Listen. But anyway, that is all I have for you ladies. I just hope that we can do better this year, 2025. Stop being so just desperate for a relationship. Please just watch these videos, share these videos, listen to these men. Look, not only listen to them, look at their actions with the women around you. Look at the actions of the men that they're dealing with or have kids with. Yeah, you may have 2 or 3 couples that you know that are good, that have been married maybe 5-10 years. But the average marriage, I think, is like, these days they said 8 years is the longest that most marriages last. You know, I know some last longer, but that's just the average. They said that's what it is. But just look around you. Just listen to women who are telling you. I know y'all don't like to hear the truth from married women, but just listen to these women. They're not saying what they're saying for no reason. Some women have been through 2, 3, 4 divorces. Listen to them. They have the experience, so they can speak on it. Even women who have not been married, like Sovereign Woman. I showed 2 of her videos. She's wise. She is looking around. She's seeing what's going on and she's taking note. And she doesn't have to get in that situation because the women before her have showed her, no, you don't want to go this way. So let's try to do more of that in 2025 because you don't have to have hard heads. You really don't. You really don't. Unless you just like being hurt and disappointed. Go ahead and do it. But if you choose to keep getting into these relationships, go into it like wiser than the women before you. Go into things just a lot wiser. And so that's all I got, ladies. If you made it this far, hit that subscribe button, get down in the comments and let me know what you thought about this video. And I will talk to you all later. Bye.
What?